Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Foliage. In today's video we are going to be talking about another very extremely easy to grow plant which is called as the Coleus. Now of course guys, in Coleus there are a lot of different colors, lot of different varieties, and they are very easy to take care. But unfortunately I did have a very large collection, but during the renovation and the painting of this place all of my Coleus happened to die. Probably I was able to save some seeds and few of the cuttings because these tend to grow very easily via cuttings, and I was only able to save few of them. This one and there is another one, but I lost a majority of the collection. Any which ways I will get them back again because they are extremely easy. Only with a small little cutting they can grow back again into a very large plant. So if you are a person who does not have a lot of time to take care of plants, then Coleus is one of the plant you can add in your collection. Let's say you're a person who loves beautiful flowers but of course does not have a lot of time, because when you have flowering plants you need to give them a good amount of care, you need to give a good amount of direct sunlight. Apart from that, you have to do regular feeding in order for those flowers to bloom. But let's say you do not have a lot of time but you want something very colorful in your garden. Don't go according to this color. This looks a little bit dull, but there are very bright colored Coleus plants as well. If you have these brightly colored Coleus plants, trust me guys, you don't even need flowers in the garden because the leaves are absolutely so beautiful. As you can see in this image, they have very different variations, very different colors. Some are brightly colored, some have very different design of leaves. So if you are a person who does not have a lot of time, you can definitely add Coleus in your garden. Now the basic care requirements are very simple. You have to have a loose, porous, well-draining soil mix which tends to retain a slight amount of moisture. Remember, Coleus are not drought-tolerant plants. If they do not get water, the leaves will start to wilt. Like for example, the leaves over here, you can see they are upright, but if they do not get a lot of water, they will start to wilt like this. So the leaves will be all folding downwards, which indicates that it requires water. So that is a good indication to check. So the soil what I tend to use is a mix of coco peat, garden soil, sand and perlite. Again, perlite is optional. It's not necessary because Coleus will grow in any kind of soil mix as long as it's well draining and loose. So use a pot that has a drain hole so that the excess water can drain out. Now talking about the light, that is the most important thing. A lot of people are scared to keep their Coleus in direct sunlight. You can provide it direct sunlight, but ensure you're giving it sunlight before 10 a.m. Don't keep it in afternoon direct sunlight. Otherwise, the plant will get dehydrated at a much faster rate and the leaves can also get burned. So ensure that you're giving them a good amount of indirect but bright light. Filtered light, dappled sunlight is absolutely okay. I would say do not grow Coleus plants indoor because they are not indoor plants. They prefer a good amount of natural light. So you can keep it in the balcony. Even if you do not receive direct sunlight, it's absolutely okay. As long as there is a good amount of indirect but bright light, the plant will do quite well. It will have a very beautiful coloration. If you're going to keep it indoor, most probably the plant will start to turn leggy. So ensure that you're not keeping this plant indoor. Now talking about fertilizers, I would say even if you don't add fertilizers, it's absolutely okay. The plant will still do quite well. But if you want, you can go with any liquid based fertilizer. During the summer, that is the best time because that's when they are in the growing period and they also tend to flower. The flowers are not the most prettiest. They kind of look like lavender flowers, very similar. They have this electric blue flowers, so they look very pretty but not as pretty as the foliage itself. So the plant is mainly grown for its foliage. So if you want to add any fertilizer, go with a very weak liquid fertilizer during the summers. Probably once a month is more than enough. During winters, don't add any fertilizers. Now this plant is very young because I took it from a cutting. So the flowers are not present. So in case if you want to make your Coleus plant very bushy, the moment it gets blooms, you have to pinch out the blooms. Only then the plant will become very bushy. If you're going to leave the blooms on the plant, then the plant will become very leggy. It will start looking very scanty. It is not going to look very beautiful because the Coleus plant looks beautiful when it is in a very bushy form. So ensure that you're doing pinching. Even if you want to do the pinching of the upper new leaves, you can do that as well. Every time when you're going to pinch, it is going to put out more and more of the growth. So it's a very easy to grow plant. Now the only pest attack that I have seen on this plant major is mealybugs. So you have to do a routine check. Usually you'll find the mealybugs on the stem area and they kind of attack the plant very frequently. So ensure that you're doing a routine check once in 2 weeks or once in 3 weeks. The moment you see even one mealybug, take out your organic solution, whatever whatever you have been using and that has been working out really well for you, use it on the plant and get rid of the pest at the earliest stage, because that is going to work out really well. Once the plant gets completely infested with bugs or any kind of pest, then it is very difficult for the plant to recover and to treat the plant. So do it at the earliest stage. Talking about temperature and humidity, they will do well in average humidity as well. They are not very picky about high humidity, but of course there has to be a slight amount of moisture in the soil. Temperature anywhere between 15 degrees Celsius up to 33, 34, even 35 degrees Celsius is absolutely okay. They will do quite well. Talking about propagation, as I said, you have to pinch the plant in order for it to become very bushy. And when you tend to pinch any part of it, you can put it back into the soil, because these tend to grow very easily with even a small little stem as well. They cannot be leaf propagated. Do not take one leaf and put it into the soil. It's not going to get propagated. You need to have a good piece of stem. For example, at least maybe 3 to 4 centimeter of stem is also more than enough for the plant to grow back again. So you can do that form of propagation, or you can even divide it from the roots as well, in case if you have smaller other plants growing. This plant can even grow from seeds as well. You might have seen my video wherein I had put the seeds into the soil, and they had kind of grown very fast. They tend to grow very fast via seeds as well. But again, if you're going to let the seed pod grow, then the plant is going to become very leggy. So if it depends upon you which method you want to go with, I would say the best method is the stem cutting. That is one of the best method you can go with the propagation. Now, talking about, is this plant toxic? This plant is not toxic to humans, but yes, at times there is this sap that can irritate your skin, especially if you have a very sensitive skin. So ensure that you wash your hands. Now, ideally, the Coleus plant is also not toxic to pets, but the plant does contain some oil. That oil is toxic to our pets, so ensure that you're keeping this plant away from their reach. Again, with pets, kids, whoever you have, because as I said, the sap is a little bit irritating to the skin, so you do not want your kids to break the leaves. In case if that sap comes in contact with the skin, it can irritate the skin, especially small children have very sensitive skin, so you want to keep the plant away from them. Apart from that, it's a non-toxic plant. You can easily grow it anywhere, any part of your garden. So guys, that's all about it. If you are interested in a very easy to grow plant, this is one of the plant you can add in your collection. As I said, there are so many different varieties, so many different colors you can choose from, and you can grow it in your garden. It's going to give a very beautiful color and a beautiful radiance to your garden if you're going to add this plant. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe.